Greetings, salutations, and the like. I call myself Wyvern because I hoard role-playing games like a dragon. I also happen to be unbalanced and occasionally toxic. But right now, I am a solo RPG player. This is something that I have started researching. So right now I'm technically cheating a little bit because the way solo RPGs go is in fact fascinating. It's kind of a I'm being told that I can get rewards by doing subscriptions to my channel. Seems weird. Yeah, so a lot of it seems to be um using a random generator. The one that I would be using would be Mythic, Game Master, something starting with E. I'm good at Mythic. Emulator. Oh my god, why couldn't I remember the word emulator? I am a goddamn Gen X. I've tried to play my Nintendo games on my computer before. Welcome aboard. But that's not what matters. What matters today is that we have Fantasy Ground up and running. I don't need you yet, module. So, last time we were going through and we had people who were dying left and right and center, and frankly, that's my idea of a good time if I'm not going to be able to play with other people. So, this time, I have quite a large number of the encounters. Almost all of them. I missed, like, doing 4 of them before I ran out of time. Because I'm not going to have to mess with monsters and stuff like that in the middle of fights. But more importantly, as promised, I have a metric crap ton of characters available to me. And by metric crap ton, I mean exactly, well, it should be exactly 20, but why is this showing an odd number? I have 19 characters, apparently, because I missed someone, I guess. But I have done my best to make sure that the names for them are as abhorrent and annoying as possible. Obviously, we have Chucky the Puppeteer. We have Buck the Egg Snatcher. The bank clerk for this one will be Coin. Some I couldn't quite come up with a perfect one. Obviously Robin the Highwayman was easy enough, but Tyler the Tailor, even I have to admit that one was pathetic. So I apologize for the low quality of that one. So um the one thing I don't have is all the treasure, so that will have to go in as I come to it, but have no fear, the chances of anyone surviving to talk about it is slim. So, this is a personalized version of Dungeon Crawl Classics, which Noah Stevens has put together. I was really surprised when I was setting up some of the monsters that Noah had put in many, many kinds of were creatures, and they did not there were no were creatures in the base Dungeon Crawl Classics. I found that shocking. Um, but I guess we can't all have weird creatures. I think everything was just expected to go under the umbrella of subhuman when they put together the bestiary, but still, weird creatures are pretty big on fantasy. So wag of the finger for that. But how many times can I say "but" in a 5-minute period without it actually having to do with demonetizing the channel? So, to sum up from last time, the important story is that my character is one of several peasants and other unimportant people who have been taken by this gang, the Jackals, to pick up starstones from the ruins of, unsurprisingly, the Halthrag Keep, since it's the name of the module. The problem is, as far as I'm concerned, he tosses one guy, they cross the bridge, they're never seen again. Tosses another guy, they show up off the bridge, never seen again. There has to be a point where he's going to think, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and throw more than one person in at a time. So we're going to go ahead and have him throw in two people at once, and we're going to go ahead and use the same table that we used to randomize occupations to see who exactly will be sent in this time. So, our first person that we're going to toss into Halthrag is... Okay, I will do them both at once. Okay, it's Rob and Rock. That won't get confusing at all. So, yeah, we have Rob, the highwayman. Okay, technically it's Robin, but you get the point. And Rock, the cliff diver. I appreciate that I named them right next to each other under the circumstance. So... yeah, let's go ahead and put them in a party so that we can easily see them up top here. Now, Robin is one of the best characters we have here in that they actually have advantages and no disadvantages. So, absolutely glorious character, 5 whole hit points, which you may or may not remember was a problem for some of our people. Meanwhile, we don't completely know how Rock has survived this long as a cliff diver, seeing as how they have a strength and an agility that gives them a penalty of -1, but they do have the intellect, and I guess that makes them for something. I don't know what. And yeah, they actually rolled pretty high for their combat. So we are going to go to the gatehouse, which, as you may remember, And I'm going to keep on saying that, even though I'm recording this for later purposes. Okay. Hopefully I'm done with that. We are going to try and grab the Black Grimoire that is on the drawbridge from a dead person who's holding a Black Grimoire, I guess. So let's go ahead, and we are trying for a 12. Make sure that the die rolls can be seen. Agility check on here is a 20. Okay, so we know that someone finally has the Black Grimoire. Let's see if there's anything interesting about the Black Grimoire. No, it is a trade good. And that's about all we've got. I'm not seeing any notes that I will be able to use it to cast spells, which is a tragedy since Rockin' Robin, as Matthew has decided to call him, only has a couple of quarrels to go into his crossbow. And I don't think that I have anything which would allow me to go back and grab spent arrows. So we are hoping that we'll get our hands on something new. Didn't that say 126? I could have sworn that said 126. We started at 28. And no, that says 116. Need to learn to add. Well, then I will refer to them both that way. No. Yes. Okay. This is where we're supposed to be. Finally. Okay, let's go ahead and I don't want you to do it that way. I want you to do it this way. Go ahead and take away the index because that's not why anyone is here. Okay. So, I will start this story over again from here. This is the gatehouse. All is quiet here. In the distance, you can hear cries of anger, but only faintly. Someone has scrawled, "Stay a while, stay forever," in faintly luminescent chalk on the north wall, to the left of the great portcullis as you enter. We are keeping track of time based on what it says, because things will be different when we run into critters in the nighttime. So this is our first, our first turn. But we also have to deal with a random attacker. Or maybe it'll be a very friendly person. So, we have a D12 that we need to go with. And we have chosen 5, a crocodilith. A crocodilith. So a crocodilith slithers into sight. These vicious reptilian animals are affected by their own poison, and bits of flesh hang off their sinewy bodies. You must fight it or flee. The venom is highly dangerous. In addition to hit point damage, it will do temporary strength damage. If a crocodilith hits you in combat, then make a DC 13 fortitude save. If you fail, subtract 1d3 points of strength. And your strength points will return in 3 turns. Of course, if your strength goes below 0, you die. And if it goes below 9, so you lose your not bonuses. Well, you have to start throwing in the penalties. So let's go ahead and bring our crocodilith into play. I have decided that the crocodilith will look something like this. Is he not lovely? Okay. Time for initiative. Let's go ahead and do all initiatives, which gives us Rock in the lead. So, just like last time, since we're dealing with really simple combat, I'm going to assume that everything is close enough that people can get around easily. So we're not going to bother putting up an exciting and beautiful map. But Rock is armed with a knife. Now, technically, he could throw the knife, but that would be as worthless as, just holding on to it. But he's going to go ahead and try his roll anyway. Since he's got that penalty, he, of course, misses. Now, Robin is using a crossbow, so we can safely assume that the crocodilith is going to go after poor Rock for being stupid enough to come to us. Now, the crocodilith does have a bite of -3. Basically, the toughness of everyone is usually in how many hit points they have or how high their armor class is. And the more tough the monster, the less likely they are to accidentally wipe out, which was extremely kind. Let's see if that works out in Rock's favor. The crocodilith has rolled a 6, which is lower than Rock's armor class of 9. And now I'm going to get I'm going to get the throwback dice out here. I love the throwback dice. They're so technically pretty. Okay. That brings us to Robin. Robin, as mentioned, does have access to a lovely crossbow, but only has 3 shots in it. This does seem like a good enough time to use that, however, because it's a goddamn crocodile person. No bonuses from agility, but at least that means no penalties as well. And... oh! Yeah, Robin is not the one who's going to be saving us all. Okay, back to Rock. And Rock is missing. We are dealing with an armor class, for the record, of 10. So a normal person would have a 50-50 chance, but Rock is no normal person. He's a weaker than normal person. So that's sad for him. But the Crocodile doesn't care. He is going to be doing a chomp. He is actually going to be doing a chomp. Okay, 1d8 damage. That's not enough to take Rock off the board, but he does have to make that fortitude save. So he gets no bonus. He's doing it for 13. So he needs to roll himself some high numbers here. That is a 16. That is above a 13. So he has absolutely succeeded at that. Okay. Robin. Robin has to admit this is a scary fight, so there's not really much that he can do but try another shot. Like I said, 50-50 chance. Where do the odds lie? They lie damn good. He managed to get a critical hit. Now, we're not using the modules crits, just because I didn't get time to program them in. So the module has much cooler critical hits, I'm afraid. But we did get an opportunistic strike, which means that his crossbow bolt, in addition to doing 1d6, will do an extra 1 point of damage, which is... Oh! A fantastic piece of news for both of them as the Crocodileth falls to the ground. A crossbow bolt through its head. Or we can rephrase that however makes you enjoy things most. So, the reward for this is 4 experience points, which tragically doesn't help too much. Why can't I give you... Wait. Okay, I will do it manually. I will do it manually on the wrong screen. So 4 hit points. Unfortunately, I did some checking, and we've only got one real situation where we can get training, but if we manage that, then it would be a lovely, lovely time. Okay, 4 XP for everybody. Right-click and use menu to reward XP. Oh, okay, there I go. Well, that'll be better next time. Okay, I'll remember that later. I can just go ahead and do edit list and award that, but that's not necessary right now. What is necessary is to reward our brave heroes. And we have a single piece of treasure here. We'll go ahead and bring the module back up. So as you can see right off the screen, we have a few things which would be absolutely lovely. Here we have a bunch of crossbow quarrels, which would save our lives. We have an obsidian dagger, and here's some more crossbow quarrels. So then, of course, we have the vial of werecarp oil, which would be slightly less useful. Another crossbow, we can just, stack them and still not have enough quarrels or bolts to do anything with them. So let's see what we've got. This is a D100 roll. And we have a 77. That is a beautiful, beautiful. Oh, that is actually a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful roll, because Robin is no longer stuck if he runs out of bolts, because he has himself a quarterstaff. Let's see. The quarterstaff does 1d6 damage. That staff does 1d4. So let's go ahead and make a new version. And this one is going to do is 1d6. Actually go to the inventory screen before I try and give him stuff. And there we go. Quarterstaff is equipped, and it is already as an alternative the next time we go through. Okay, so that brings us back to 116, where we have the choice. Through a narrow stone alley to the north, you can see the base of a decrepit tower. Eastward, we have a wide courtyard, and we can also possibly squeeze through a hole in the southern wall. Now, Rock and Robin have not been this way before, but I have, and we know that we have a strange inverted stamina problem, where if you are too healthy and hale, then you have a strong possibility that you're too healthy and hale, and you will get yourself stuck and crushed. So let's not split the party. Let's not murder the Robin. Let's go into the courtyard. And yeah, I also know that the base of the decrepit tower isn't going to do as much good unless we have some way to climb the tower. So, Dire Maker died here. Dire Maker is from another copy of the game, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But we do have the western courtyard of Halthrag Keep. A thick layer of dust obscures the bones of many dead warriors strewn about the yard, but most prominent of them is the ominous decayed corpse of a huge cyclops. You know from childhood stories that his club was named Dwarf Meal and leveled many a castle wall throughout the young kingdom of Thrend. As strong as he was, Halthrag's troops somehow overcame him, but it seems that none of them survived the battle either. So, the first thing we need to do is go ahead and up the time counter one more. And then, having increased the time counter, let me go ahead and grab a notepad in the other program. Location lists. Rock and Robin left last at entry 62. So someone reviewed something like this, and they were confused as to why the why the entries were all scattered and randomized. And it is sad that Choose Your Own Adventure books are not a standard for kids nowadays. And I hate to use that phrase. I'm not saying you damn kids in your I'm just saying you damn adult and you not sharing the glorious thing with your children. But, oh, it is a nice and simple kobold. A hardened and vicious kobold appears. The kobolds in this part are unused to the presence of other races and are also somewhat dim. So you must fight. Luckily, they're somewhat cowardly and will flee automatically when they are wounded. So I have to one-hit kill it or no experience points, but it will drop one of those. Okay. I have to. I was watching a video from someone who was explaining solo role-playing games and, the different kinds of them. And what I'm doing here, of course, is basically Fighting Fantasy was one of the ones, Lone Wolf was the other one. Unfortunately, he never pronounced the L in wolf, and unfortunately, I was rude to them, and hopefully they'll never come across this and hate me for it, because it was repeatedly discussed, the Lone Wolf books, which isn't quite the same. So at some point I will get my comeuppance for sharing that, but maybe today is not that day. So I'm going to go ahead and in the background here do initiative checks, and if we drop back down, we can see that, oh no, the kobold, Mr. Kobold, has gained the advantage this time. So we are guessing that both Robin and Rock are closing in to hit them. Okay, the kobold has a hit point, so I'm no longer completely expecting the possibility of the kobold surviving being hit. That seems extremely unlikely. So experience is in the bag. So even is Robin, odd is Rock. That is even. Robin it is. The kobold swings his tiny sword, getting a 6, which is insufficient, which brings Robin to his opportunity. Robin, of course, needing to target the kobold, and then he is going to use his quarterstaff to save his remaining crossbow bolt for now. Rolling a 6 as well. That's fantastic. You go. Rock, who is currently wounded, is probably very sad about that, but that's not really going to change any plans as he stabs with his dagger, and ooh, unknown to him, but known to us, the kobold has an 11 armor class, So if he didn't have that strength penalty, he would have been fine. Let us mock rock. Mock rock! This time, Robin is not so lucky, but the kobold's lack of strength could mean he takes no damage. Or he could roll, a 2, which is kind of brittle for our poor characters. Fortunately, Robin is the one with the massive stamina bonus. Let's go ahead and grab the quarterstaff again and try for a mighty thump. So one of the most tragic thing is always going to be being able to see the die almost go to a 15, but no, it decided an 8 was better. And Rock gets another chance to show his knife skills. It really bothers me when the follow-up is exactly the same as the last tragedy. Okay, round 3. The kobold is still standing. The rest of them are still standing. And that is a clear miss on Robin. Absolutely no worries there. Will he be able to avenge himself? Well, with a 19, he absolutely will. Okay, we have 1 hit point. We did 5 points of damage. So yes, that is a very dead kobold. Okay, we are going to go ahead and add, not there. Can I add here? I don't have a plus. Very silly. Okay. I mean, I do have to deal with the fact that as soon as I hit 10 experience points, they're not getting any not leveled. But for now, that is good. And let's see what will make its way into their pouches. With another D100 roll, we have a 17, now that it's uncovered. A 17 gives us 1d10 Easterling arrows. I don't know what the difference would be between Easterling arrows and more generic arrows. But I will go ahead and note the difference out of politeness. And 1d10 of them. 7. So I am thinking we will put those in Robin's inventory. Obviously, you cannot use an arrow, Easterling or otherwise, with a crossbow, but maybe he will come across a bow. Let's go ahead and do a quick check to see if there's anything. That I need to know. Okay. As I expected, Easterling is referencing Lord of the Rings. So there's not going to be any major differences Nothing for me to worry about there. Okie dokie. Except for the fact that they are currently just taking up bag space because you ain't shooting any arrows under the circumstances. Okay, location list. Last net entry, 62. 62. Now, if you want to search, make a DC 15 luck check. If you succeed, you can scrounge a random item from the table. Each time you find an item, you automatically incur a random encounter and advance the time a turn. So let's just quickly check. HH5 is the randomly generated treasure list. I am going to go ahead and not do the search. So I can go west to the gatehouse, which would be going back to where I started. There is a stout building to the north with a miraculously intact oaken door. The walls of the inner keep and the low tower are visible to the east. The ruined kitchen is to the southwest. And around a bend to the southeast, you can pass the low tower closer to the outer wall. Now, there are a great many logical choices that I could make here, but according to the opening passages, they have been basically starved to make sure that they were willing to comply. So the ruined kitchen, as dangerous a choice as that may be, is otherwise a very good one. 87. You must have light to see here. I don't. We have absolutely no light whatsoever. So because of that, we're going to be stopped before we make it here. That being said, I think we still need to take the time change into consideration and the fact that there is a wandering monster possible, and by possible we mean extremely likely. So it could happen that we can stay here. Based on if we get a treasure. So let's see what happens. We roll an 11. 11 is a shrieker. That is a terrible thing, because the shrieker is a babbling, semi-conscious fungal creature that is cowardly beyond compare. They spend their entire short existence in one place, murmuring quietly to themselves. They have no arms, they have no legs, they have no fangs, they have no offensive abilities of any kind, so they can't attack. And if you attack it, then it's going to start screaming. So let's just not. Let's go ahead and have Robin and Rock just quietly try to move on by. That was very poetic. I'd like to apologize for that. So, we need to roll an 8 or more. This one is Robin's roll. Robin with a 15 has succeeded. And now Rock. Robin with a 5 has failed. I kind of expected that to happen. Now, if you hit the shrieker, it will immediately erupt into ear-piercing cries for help. Provided you kill it on the first attack round, then all is fine. If you cannot do that, then we will re-roll the nighttime enemy list, which is worser, sir, than yeah, that's not a good thing. So, in the background here, I am grabbing my NPC list. I am throwing in the Shrieker. Oh, look. Isn't he lovely? All fungal and shouty. Okay, so he has to die, and he has 4 hit points. So that's not a great combination. Let's see how much armor class he's only an 8. So there is hope. Okay, Robin, starting off the turn. Oop. We're still good with our quarterstaff. Oh, but despite it being I don't know what I was going with there. It was something really cool sounding, but I failed it. Okay, Rock. Rock goes ahead and goes stabby. Now, the problem is Rock cannot kill it. Rock is literally incapable of killing it. So we'll try and wound it. But yeah, it's taken 1 point of damage, which means we are now going back to the module, and we are running onto the nighttime chart. At night, the souls of the dead animate the corpses that litter the ruins, hear about abominations, and summon demons. Skitter to and fro, roll 1d20 and encounter the entity listed. If your lucky roll is Righteous Heart, then you may burn a luck point to adjust the result up or down by 1. Your lucky roll is Moon El's Plaything, which means that your encounter rolls at night are at +0. So that doesn't help. And yours is Ghost Stalker. So the book says XP versus undead. That made me realize that the undead would possibly not give you any experience, so I assumed maybe that would be parlay against undead. I wasn't completely sure. But what we are sure about is that we're rolling a 20-sided die, and what we have is a fearsome and terrifying indeed monster. Or not. It's a possum man. Okay, no, that's not actually even slightly frightening sounding. So, yeah, you have roused a sleepy and discombobulated possum man. They are not the brightest of creatures. They are nocturnal, which makes sense. Luckily, you have caused it dazed and confused before it becomes fully active. But basically just like the kobold. If we hit it, then it will probably get away, but we will get a treasure. But it is worth noting that it offers 4 treasures if killed. So let's go ahead and go to the new round. Now, the way I would play it is that if the shrieker is still there, it's going to keep on shrieking. So I strongly feel that we need to get that thing gone. So let's go ahead and try another good whack with the quarterstaff. I meant to say terrible whack with the quarterstaff, apparently, because that's more of what it looked like. Another stab with the knife. And another embarrassment. The shrieker, of course, is shrieking. And then we have the possum man. Now, the possum man is really not the most horrifying thing. So, even as Robin, odd as rock. And that is even. Boop. And chomp. And we roll a 13, which fortunately is a miss. It wouldn't normally have been, so Robin got lucky. But, as mentioned, we're now dealing with the fact that damn thing was still screaming. So we're going to go ahead and do another roll. A 16. That sounds absolutely ta-ha-ha-ha-ha. The fight is over. Oh, yes. So, 23. The horrible spawn of a gruesome lurker and its last victim, the demi-crew can be turned away by strong light, which we have already discussed we lack in any way, shape, or form. Torchlight would make it uncomfortable, but so we could try and flee. It is a difficulty of 14. But we have come up with a theory that the demi-crew may look something like this. Mostly because we don't know what this is, but it came up when I searched for Gru. So that might as well be what it looks like. It only has 5 hit points. It only has an arm class of 13. I think it would be in our best interest to go ahead and attempt to flee. So, Robin, again, we are hoping for a... Okay, I did all that about this is what we think it looks like, except I did not actually show that. Let's try it this way. Ooh, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. We can all agree on that much. Okay. Robin goes ahead and tries and flees and fails miserably. Rock does as well and also fails. So I am going to go ahead and be kind to them and let them at least try and not skip their action because they were trying to flee. Probably they should have, but we can be magnanimous when they're facing down this many creatures. We still have to get that damn Shrieker down. And with a 14, we finally actually hit and, more importantly, kill the Shrieker. Okay, so that's Robin's turn over and done with. Rock, the Possum Man just isn't the scariest thing right now. So let's go ahead and try and stab at the Gru, which is a failure. Since everything has been going after Robin, it's Rock's turn. And it does a chomp attempt, which is successful. Rock is now an X-Rock. So that leaves us, not with the Shrieker, but with the Possum Man. He bites Robin. Robin is on the verge of death. Obviously, Robin is going to try and get his ass out of there. But that is not a 13 by a long shot. Okay. Well, you two have to fight the Gru. Yes, indeed you do. A 14 is a hit. That is a good start. That is a terrible follow-up, however. So the Gru has been hit once. Leaving it at 2. Okay, so obviously Rock is not doing anything. The Demi-Gru is changing its target to Robin. Will Robin have the luck of the gods behind him? Not even slightly. Okay, and we've done it again, boys. Never, ever, ever touch a Shrieker. So, alas, poor Robin, poor Rock will not be joining us wherever we go next. But on the plus side, now everyone's going to just kind of wander off and it'll be glorious. So, we were died outside of, what was that, actually? Let's go back to where they were before. Last at entry 62. From 62, they went to the kitchen at 87. So we need to go ahead and put a nice little friendly note. Add a comment. Rock and Robin died here. Boop. Okay. So Rock and Robin's story is over. But maybe their stuff will help someone in the future. So we're going to go ahead and, as before, we're going to see how many people the Werevulture sends this time by rolling 2d3. He's had enough. He's going to try and send as many people as he possibly can. So, grab the starting occupations, and we get... No, we don't get Cliff, the cliff diver. He's dead. We get the coin diver. That's great. Coin diver. I seem to understand why I don't have a... Why I'm missing somebody, because apparently I decided that the coin diver was too close. So, skip that. Okay, this is the fisherwoman. It's Nettie. Yay, Nettie. Okay, that's one. Participant number 2 is the Boyer, who we just saw a moment ago. Barton. This will be another lovely situation where we've got someone with a ranged weapon. The Coffin Maker. Now, I called him Diggle, even though he's, not putting away the coffins. He's just making them, but I suppose I need it somewhere. The Bank Clerk Coin. And one more. We can't have the Boyer twice, thank you. The Cliff Diver, you're really being silly to me here. I need to change this to a deck of cards, clearly. Fleet the Foot Courier. Okay. Shirley, thinks the leader of the Jackals. Surely this will be enough. Not quite sure why they'd come back, but we'll see where the story takes us. So, quickly throw all of our new friends into the tracker. So, as a large group, they head in. We'll go ahead and reset the time counter back to 0. They can't... They can't try and get the book because it no longer exists. So let's go ahead and take a look at some inventories here. Inventories. Okay. So we actually have candles. Obviously we have arrows and a short bow, a glowing rune carved stone, which is probably not enough to fight anyone. We have a lantern. We could actually use that. Some pilfered gems, a couple of planks of wood, if that becomes useful. So far, nothing overly useful. But we'll see what happens. So, of course, we have to add our 1 to our time counter. We have our... Where's my note? Location. Group was last at 116. So let's see what they're going to run into. I'm not going to bother switching back to the module because we'll be back here soon enough. It is a goblin! Absolutely terrifying. 28. A lanky and bedraggled goblin sidles into view. When it sees you, it cackles gleefully. You may attempt to flee, parley with it, or fight it. So we need to do a DC 14 personality check to try and get it to just wander off. But under the circumstances, there's a lot of us and very few of he, so let's go ahead and give this a shot. Okay. I did not bother tracking. Oh, that's right. This is the base one, so. Well, this is actually going to be kind of sad then, because everyone gets to try and thump it before it has a chance to do anything. Oop. Coin has the goblin selected. He has a knife. He does not have Rock's problems with knife, but he does have Rock's problem with lack of luck. Barton. Barton has 2 whole arrows. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. Let's go ahead and... Okay, I rolled a 6, which I think I can safely assume is a miss. Armor class 10. Nettie is going to properly target this. And she has a fishing pole she's using as a staff. She has a terrible strength, so of course she misses. Oops. Diggle. Diggle actually gets a +1 to all of his attack rolls. And I don't think that's going to happen naturally, so it's nice that someone finally has some good luck going for them. Okay, he has a hammer, which he is using as a club, even though it's designed for simpler things. But he does hit, and there's one less goblin in the world. Okay. We'll go ahead and see what we get for treasure. $99. That is a hilarious number. We have ourselves a fancy bronze key. Let's just go ahead and fancy bronze key. I don't think it is anything important. It's some kind of equipment. Let's go ahead and call it a trade good. And I don't think we'd be selling that. Let's go ahead and stick it into the general loot for now. So the next step, after we wipe out the goblin, is for us to go back to where we were. And we are going to go straight into the courtyard. since that remains our most logical location. So, yes, the western courtyard of Halthrag Keep. This takes us one more round. Oops, I nearly forgot something important. Unsurprising deaths. Now up to 6. We have a wandering monster to look for. Go ahead and roll the die since we know what we're looking for. It is 7, a cliff racer. Oh! There has been there has been an indecision here. Because this is a cliff rooster, according to the NPC list. But given the description, this is supposed to be the Morrowinds, and that's giving me oh so many flashbacks. So the Cliff Rooster is starting us off in the combat. Let's see, there are 5 people, so reroll on a 6. Reroll on a 6. Reroll on a 6. Okay. Going after the first person, which is a Barton. Since it can fly, that makes perfect sense. Okay. Into the combat screen we go. So it has a very high armor class. That could go poorly for everyone. It has a beak. It pecks out brutally at Barton and hits with a 17. Barton, who's already had bad luck with the number of arrows he managed to grab, is now having even worse luck. But maybe he can be saved. Diggle goes ahead and swings his hammer at the chicken and misses. Nettie! You can do better than them. Grab your fishing pole and miss really, really badly. That's not too surprising with that strength, but we're trying to ignore it. Coin with your knife. Your incompetent blow makes you the laughingstock of the party, but otherwise causes no damage. That is not too surprising. Barton, who is heavily wounded, is definitely going to be using his last arrow. And thankfully, he is hitting. Let's see how well he does. He does a 4, which means that the Chimkim is on his way to hell. Yeah, Cliff Racer, Cliff Rooster. Either way, it's giving me flashbacks to tragic times. Okay. So this means that we have now found. Oh no, that's from the other game, and this is kind of a new thing. So let's go ahead and do our Does anyone have good luck? We have 2 people who get +1. So let's go ahead and do 2 DC 15 luck checks. That is 1. And that is okay. Okay. So we are going to start off with 2 lovely random pieces of treasure. The first one is going to be item number 36, which is a steel pot with a leather strap added to serve as a helm. We'll go ahead and borrow this one. This is going to be a iron pot helmet. +1 to armor class. That's perfect. Okay. Who has the worst armor class in the group? Well, it comes down to Fleet or Barton. Odd is Barton, even as Fleet. Fleet it is. Because just between you and me, there is absolutely no way that Barton is surviving any longer. Iron pot, that's not the inventory screen. That's the inventory screen. Okay, iron pot helmet, which means that now you have a lovely 10 armor class. So the other one is a 94, which is a shoddy pistol. Just the pistol. I guess we'll go ahead and keep track of that. Missile weapon for which any 2-hit roll 1 to 5 means the shot was wasted. So, I'd probably go ahead and make that a chance to miss, even if it rolls successfully. If it weren't for the fact that, again, there's no shot, there's no powder, it's not doing us any good. But we do have one. Yay! Okay, now that I'm done with all the stuff in the background, we have to now deal with the tragedy of our choices, which is the fact that we have wandered around long enough that we are going to have another time counter increased. And more importantly, another wandering monster. Let's see what we're up for now. 8. It is a Jinxie. You may remember the Jinxie from last time when it murdered a character. Or you may not, because that's fine too. Okay. Can I burn luck from these screens? I can edit. Okay, so I have to go through and burn the luck manually. So yeah, the deal was that right off the bat, it's going to damage our luck. And then if it deals damage, it's going to do more. But we're going to get one luck restored if we kill her. So looks like Nettie is in the lead. Nettie with her incredible strength and her powerful fishing pole, which of course misses because of that strength penalty. Diggle is going to go ahead and swing his hammer. And his weapon is damaged. The weapon can be repaired with 10 minutes of work, but is useless for now. Let's go ahead and change that from equipped to not carried. Fleet of the Pothead. They're very strong, and they rolled a lovely 17, which would have looked much cooler if I had actually targeted, but that doesn't change the fact that they did manage the hit, rolling themselves a 3, which is enough to send the Jinxie dying, which means that the time I spent to fix the luck wasn't completely necessary. But it's the principle. If I only could, I'd make a deal with God. 2 avocados for $5. $10. Okay, a Jinxie. In addition to just the feeling of joy, because we ran into this in another game, we do have 1 treasure from it, which in this case is going to be 66. Which is coins. So 57 silver pieces to be exact. Inventory 57. Let's go ahead and share that out. They're now wealthier than they've ever been in their lives, which won't help them too much if they don't get out of here alive. Okay, back to the book. So, having finished all of our fights, We can go back to the gatehouse, which we're not going to do. We can go to the north, which has an intact oaken door. The inner keep for the outer wall, and the kitchen. So I think we're going to go ahead and check out the place with the intact wooden door. Because it's new. We add another time counter. This squat building is of rough-cut stone. The oaken door is remarkably solid for a door that has been out of use for a millennium. Unrusted iron bands frame a large steel pull ring set centrally, underneath which is a strangely shaped keyhole. You hear the screeching of birds high up in the northwest. You can just make out from here that the screeching comes from the red roof of a high tower. A pair of charred skeletons lays on the ground before the door. So, if you have a fancy bronze key, which we actually do, you can try and pick the lock with a stiletto, but no one has a stiletto. Can just go to the Cyclops course or can go to the Red Tower. We do have a fancy bronze key, so let's see what that means. 38. You must have light to see here. We have a lantern available to us, so let's go ahead and continue on to 84. The flickering light you carry barely illuminates this room. Rows of cots line the northern and southern walls, and everything within smells musty and moldy. Outside, through holes in the roof, you can hear the buzzing of a hummingbird or perhaps swarm of bees. Here and there lie the withered bodies of what were men and women of Halthrag's guard. A shaft of light pierces the darkness and settles for a moment upon a golden idol that takes up a portion of the northern wall. The western side of the room is still cloaked in darkness. I don't know what only means. Okay, let's go ahead and flag this location and see if I've got only. Only. I think it's just trying to tell me that it's moved. Okay, so yeah. I am okay with that. So we're going to go ahead and have a spear. A spear is a normal, lovely weapon. Let's go ahead and put that into the inventory in the back. There is a longsword here. A longsword is also a lovely and useful weapon. And a silver-headed hand axe. I'm going to assume that the fact that it is silver-headed is very important, especially since I began this entire discussion with the fact that I was putting in so many information about were creatures. Okay, so make a difficulty 9 luck check here. If you succeed, get a random item, but get attacked by an angry reanimated guard. This is one of the things that I haven't actually gotten done. I'm going to just go straight to the center of the room, or the western portion of the room. 96. 96. Okay. We are going to have an addition to the time counter. We have now made it further, which isn't too surprising, given just how many damn people we have here. This is the western end of the large barracks building of the Halthrag Keep. The guard captain's desk is here in this gloomy room, in addition to a small shrine to a foreign god, which you do not recognize. At a sturdy oak desk, the body of a large man in moth-eaten robes is slumped over a penknife, clutched in his bony fingers. You cannot make out the scratched message beneath him from here. The tarnished brass and wood idol of a strange god looms from a niche in the southern wall. Its form beckons you to investigate. If you've suddenly stopped having light, you can return to the courtyard. If you would like to investigate the idol, you can, or if you would like to investigate the corpse. I am curious what it was writing for me. 99. The skeletal corpse of a once tall man is slumped over a crude but stately desk here. The skeletal hand holds a rusty knife. You can see that he carved "Forgive our victory bought with poison" into the desk before he died. You may take the rusty knife. Are you D4? You're D4, so that's a perfectly good choice. And the corpse has a serviceable chainmail vest. You would need to disturb the corpse quite a bit, and if you do so, you will acquire lung taint. I feel like that probably should have been hidden so that it's not that obvious that's a bad idea, but who am I to judge? Okay, I'm going to quickly go through. So, right now, Arden has no weapon. Let's go ahead and give him the spear. The silver-headed hand axe. Coin is doing 1d4. Diggle is doing 1d4. Fleet is doing 1d4 plus 1. And Nettie is doing 1d6 minus 2. Giving Nettie anything seems like a waste of time. Fleet has a bonus to strength. Let's go ahead and give them the longsword. And, coin or diggle. Even coin, odd diggle. Diggle it is. You are getting... And what the heck, we'll go ahead and give coin the other knife, because why not? Okay. Oh, and I don't know if we leave this. Okay. There is nothing further. We go back to 84. And we can go ahead and leave this misbegotten place. So we need to go ahead and add another time counter. That's lovely. And now we have to deal with a wandering monster. Now, I do need to check. Is it daytime or nighttime? 24 turns would change it from day to night, but We ain't there yet. For a kobold! I feel a little bit bad for the kobolds, so we're going to go ahead and give them a chance to have friends. 2 koboldi. If I can make a large group, he can make a large group. Okay. Get that initiative checked, and oh, the kobolds are now moving first. Okay. Kobold 1. Please stop rolling 6s. I'm ignoring 6s. Okay, Kobold 1 is going to be attacking Fleet. And Kobold 2 is going after Neddy. So, we start from the beginning. He swings his tiny sword and misses. Will Nettie be as lucky? She will. Okay, Diggle. Diggle can go after the first kobolds. Now, you have the silver-headed hand axe. Apologize for choking there. That was amusing. That is a miss, tragically. Coin, now... I thought I gave him something else. You have your knife. And you know how to use it. Except for the fact that you forgot to actually choose who you were doing. So, even is Kobold 1, odd is... No. Odd is Kobold 1, even is Kobold 2. It's much easier to remember that way. Okay, 2. 2 takes 3 points of damage. Which means he's going to run at the end of here. Okay, Barton. Barton is going after Kobold 1 with his brand new spear. Ineffectually. Nettie, of course, is going after the one who's trying to hit her first. What I actually said was, she's not going to do anything. Let's not bother giving her any gear. And that's why there is a kobold who has had his head knocked off by a fishing pole. Finally, we have Fleet G, who will fleet attack. Why, it's Kobold 1, the only survivor, with your longsword. And tragically, this is a reflex save, which you're not good at. Okay, so we're trying for 10 or higher. So, she is not knocked prone. I didn't move it to the fantasy ground screen, but I feel like all the important stuff is right here. Fleet gets a tiny sword swung their way, but it misses. Diggle uses his new hand axe. and is mocked for failure. The coin does a stab attempt, and it goes well, even if he didn't actually have anyone targeted. And that is the end of another kobold. So, where were we? We were at 84. Oh, don't forget the treasure. So, 37 and 33. 37. 37 is 3 torches. Can't complain about that. I mean, you can, I suppose. But it seems rude. 3 torches, and what was the other one? 33. A silver short sword. Nice. Go ahead and give that to coin. After we note the fact that it is in fact silver. Oops. And you will hopefully use that well in the future. Yay! Okay. 84, 84, 84, 84, 84. All right. So, no, we had left. We had gone back to 62. Okay. So we investigated the stout building. Since last time we didn't have lights, let's go to the kitchens and see what happens. So you must have light to see. We do this time. We're going to add 1 to our time counter. And of course, we need to fight a random monster. It is another cliff racer or cliff rooster, we're not sure. And there's just the one of it. So just go ahead and do the same thing as last time. I'm not even going to bother changing screens. Because again, all that we care about is the rolls. Coin with his beautiful new silver short sword, who has notoriously been our best fighter this entire time, does not kill, but comes pretty damn close to killing the cliff racer. Followed up by Diggle and his silver hand axe, who misses. Fleet with their longsword misses as well. Nessie with their tiny strength score. There's a reason why I used the picture of a small girl. Manages to roll a 0, which means that the cliff rooster... Sure, it might as well go after Nettie. Pecks at her with its beak, hitting, and wounds. Okay. Barton finally has a weapon to use, and doesn't use it well enough. Okay, coin. Going back to the top, swings his silver short sword and misses. Diggle with his hand axe. And incompetence. Fleets with the long sword and a very, very nice roll, which takes down another of our brutal opponents. So where were we? Oh, I should not forget that I can get treasures at the end here. I should probably have actually looked. 51. And it has no treasure. Gosh darn it. I suppose that makes sense whether it was a chicken or a cliff racer. Was it 63? Western Courtyard, Ruined Kitchen, 87. That's where we were. Sour smelting and moldy place has the sheen of 1,000 years of grease about it. You notice that some of the bricks in the hearth are misplaced and a gaping hole yawns beneath them. It appears a stairway is behind the soot blackened bricks. You may take any number of dull knives or dented pots. You know what? We all know it's going to look silly, but let's go ahead and get a bunch of iron pot helmets. Okay, so Barton, coin, Diggle, and Nettie all need one. And see if it automatically assigned them. Yep, everyone. Yay! Okay. If you have any skill with cooking, which isn't something that we could try making poisonous rations. Wait. Okay. Lawyer, bank clerk, coffin maker, food courier, fisherwoman. Does a fisherwoman have skill with cooking? We're going to go ahead and I'm going to say that Nettie has cooking skill if I roll a 1 or a 2. That is a 5, so we move on. So let's see. Do we return to the courtyard, or we do the far more exciting sounding through the hearth to the evil shrine? Well, obviously, we have lights. We're not worried about that one. Although I do appreciate the fact that we might be eaten by a grue. Down a flight of narrow and rickety stairs, you leave the kitchen behind and work your way into the darkness. A chill wind cools your skin, and you come to the bottom relieved. How far down have you come? The opening of the hearth through which you've come seems impossibly small for the distance you've traveled. Before you, a chunk of blackened basalt stone has been mostly dug out of the putrid and squelching earth. A single red candle stump sits on top, amidst a network of rusty red streaks. You cannot know this information, but this is a shrine to the ancient and mad god Nebrovolent. You can sacrifice points of strength, agility, or stamina in exchange for luck here. For a blood sacrifice, change your alignment immediately to chaotic, and then for every 3 points, you will gain 1 current luck. But this is only restoring missing luck, and I haven't actually tried to burn any for bonuses at this point. So all we can do is flee back to the which would put us back to 62. Okay. It is 6:23. 8:23. Which I think, having found a hideous shrine to evil and fought several cliff roosters, which I am now going to officially change to be cliff racers in the future. And we will continue this anon. So, until then, good night, good luck. I'll most likely kill you in the morning. I really need to get better at figuring out how to end these things.